Hello, everybody. Hebro77 here. I'm just testing out this contraction here. Um, I wanted to do a premiere, but it would allow me to do that. So, I'm just doing this. This is not part of the Shifty Sunday broadcast, but I do wish for everybody watching this broadcast to please tune in later tonight at 7 p.m. Central. 8 Eastern. God's Armor got it half right. It is 8 Eastern, 7 Central. But of course, if you say the 8 Eastern part, everybody knows, well, duh, 7 Central. So, just everybody tune in tonight. That's all I wanted to say. I'm just testing this. I tried to see what I was trying to do earlier was I was honestly just trying to what do you call it? Do it the new way, but the new way, as everybody knows, always sucks. So I couldn't do that. Got my phone here. I gotta make sure my phone's all charged for tonight because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Shifty Sunday proudly presents the Call-In Show. Tonight, Shifty Sunday will feature myself, Hebro77, God's Armor, and, of course, as always, hopefully, Sagittarically speaking. If not, there's always fill-ins for him. Thank God this YouTube community, this Mandela-affected YouTube community, is one of such that we have so many good friends out there that you could ask them to be on live stream. They're just like, hey, yeah, no problem. One of the guys that's really good at that is I will mention names. I will mention names. It's funny. We don't mind mentioning names if it's something good. We'll mention the names. If it's something bad, we're always like, oh, I won't mention any names, but I'll just stare at the guilty party accusingly. Or I'll just point at the guilty party accusingly. But when it's a good thing, the name comes right out. But there are people who will step up in the Mandela-affected community. And one of those people who are really good at that is Noble. Anytime I ask Noble, could you please fill in for so-and-so? Man, no matter what he's doing, he'll strap on those boots and he'll jump right on in there and he soldiers right through it. Even if it's something he's not really all that interesting in, he picks up on it right away. He's an awesome dude. He's an awesome dude. Noble, he doesn't get as much credit as what he should get, but I'll tell you what, I'm giving him credit right now. He's one of those awesome dudes. At God's Armor, he's on everybody's live stream. God's Armor, man, he's I won't say everybody, because the man is selective to a point. But you got to understand that has to depend on words coming from a higher ground. Higher authority tells him to do the things that he does. Yeah. So, anyway, but he's a great guy, man. I'm telling you. But if it comes down to nitty gritty, you ask God's Armor. If he's already on your team, he's 100% in. He's in all the way, 100%. I don't care if he's been on the road 16 hours, 18 hours that day, 24 hours, He's on the road a lot of times, 24 hours. A lot of people don't realize that. And he gets home on the road 24 hours. Sometimes he'll get on Scarab Performance Channel. He'll be working Friday night. Friday night, he'll come in. Friday evening, he'll come in from work after being on the road 24 hours. And holy cow, he'll come in and he'll do 2 or 3 hours on Scarab Performance. If Dan asks him to do it, he's there. He's right there. So when he does commit to the row, he commits to it 100%. He's all in. And he's always doing the shout outs whenever I ask him. he's really good at that, and he does the shout outs for Dan when he asks him. He's just a really good guy. In all honesty, we joke around a lot, and we poke fun at each other, saying, "Oh, you're just a soggy old man," and he'll say, "Oh, you're this or that." Yeah. And I'm always mispronouncing Sagittariusly Speaking's name, and said Sag, he's a good sport. I'll tell you what, he'll get it right in there and be like, yeah, whatever my name is. Of course, I've had so many different names. People don't even know who the hell I am. I tried to change my name today, and they're just like, well, it's been too soon. Too soon. Come on, guys. I changed it like over 2 months ago. Come on, I want to change my name back. I want my name back. I did this as kind of a joke. The joke's going on too far, man. You ever heard that song? I started the joke, which got the whole world laughing. I started a lie. However the hell that song goes, I don't know. I made that up. But anyway, the Bee Gees. That one dude from the Bee Gees, one of the brothers. I guess one of the brothers is still living, still alive. I guess two of them. I guess there's two of them still alive, and the main dude, the guy that did most of the singing, he's dead. What's his name? Anyway, I can't think of his name, but they did several separate solos. Han Solo. Speaking of Star Wars, you guys might have seen the Darth Vader thing I did, Darth Vader mask. Some of you guys might take that as a crack at the Mandela effect. That was not a crack at the Mandela effect. I want to get to the bottom of the evidence in that case. I just want to get, as with every Mandela effect, we all want to say, well, do we want to jump to Mandela effect right away? Or do we want to, post this up there? Is this a Mandela effect, or is it just a natural change? Is this a Mandela effect, or is it just the way things have always been? We don't want to jump to that conclusion right away because number one, it gets to the point where everything could be a Mandela effect. It jumps on the paranoids. It gets people paranoid. Oh my gosh, this is a Mandela effect. That's a Mandela effect. Number two, when you have people that can prove right away if there's any shadow of doubt whatsoever, a person who is a skeptic can get in there and say, well, you guys are all just a bunch of freaking idiots. That's the way it's always been. Here's the proof right here. There's the proof. Just like me with my Snoopy snow cone machine. Snow cone spelled SNOCONE, snow cone. I wanted to jump on that right away and say, hey, this looks like a Mandela effect here. But then I was proved that it was not, in fact, a Mandela effect. You don't know how many times I've seen things and said, hey, that seems like a Mandela effect. And Noble or Dan or, somebody else would jump in there and go, no, look, it's this way every other word. Just like with certain words, they'll look it up and said, I'm only finding like 100 matches or whatever. So number three, you want to get it right because you don't want, you want the community to look good. You don't want the community to look like a bunch of flakes. Because if someone could just automatically disprove you just like that, then you automatically just got crushed right there. You've lost your argument. You're done. And there's enough of that going on as it is because there's enough people out there who just dismiss everything as mismemory. So when I do a video on something like Star Wars or something on Gremlins or Ghostbusters or stuff that I'm real familiar with, and believe me, there is some stuff out there that I've come across that I've scratched my head on, like Mr. Stay Puft. Well, to me, it's always right there. I've always said Mr. Stay Puft. But I've scratched my head on it because I've watched Ghostbusters God knows how many times. I've watched the cartoon show. I've watched Ghostbusters 2. I've collected the action figures, read the comic books, and I know my Ghostbusters backwards and forwards, just like I know my Star Wars backwards and forwards. But I do scratch my head on a few things and say, gosh, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that wasn't that way always. And a lot of times, maybe it's because you're too close to a Mandela effect. You're too close to it. So maybe on the Star Wars ones, I'm just too close to it and I can't see the forest through the trees, you know. Oh gosh, I just want everybody to know that anytime I make a video like that, the stripe video that I made and the Darth Vader video I made, I don't make them trying to disprove anybody. I make them to show, hey, if there's a shadow of doubt, here's some things that it could be. Here's some possibilities. Let's not write everything off right away as a Mandela effect, is what I'm saying. You don't want to jump right to that conclusion. And a lot of times I have jumped right to the conclusion, like I said, and Dan or Noble or someone said, well, here's just 100 matches for that. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, I have found some stuff where they go, wow, there's 1,000 matches for this word, or there's 1,000 matches for what you just said. The whole Barbasol thing was one of those that they didn't dig into because they said, well, there's only like 100 or 200 different matches for this. There's no, Noble dug into that, and he didn't really, I don't think he saw a whole lot of matches, so he just kind of dropped the subject. But there's things that they consult other people on as well, I'm sure. And, and just like the man animals, there's man animals out there that aren't necessarily man animals. They're just species that we haven't come across, that we're not aware of, that we've never seen, never heard of. There's thousands, if not millions, of different species out there that, and most of them we have yet to discover. So, who knows with those things what's man animal or not. Just saying. Let's see. I don't know who, if anything, is watching. If anyone, I said anything, sorry. If anyone's watching the broadcast, I said this was just going to be a test, which means it's probably going to be about, I don't know, what, an hour long or so. I kind of got bored. I had done everything else, and then it started raining. I had already eaten everything, wasn't sleepy, didn't feel like taking a nap or nothing. So I checking YouTube. I'm live right now. There's 2 watching, so that's good. At least I haven't wasted my time. Anyway, oh, you hear that? Let me pause that. I can play it. Checking YouTube. I'm live right now. There's 2 watching. Let me turn that down. There we go. So, who is watching? Oh, I got to press that to see who's watching. Here we go. Okay. There's 2 watching, but they're not chatting. Oh, okay. I got you. Anyway, so we have to sometimes we have to check with each other. We have to check with other people. Say, hey, what do you remember? What is this a Mandela effect or is that a Mandela effect? Um, a lot of times we'll scratch our heads and go, I don't know. Hey, Mr. Jocko, how you doing, brother? Good to see you in the house. I hope you tune in later tonight for Shifty Sunday. That'd be awesome. We will have the call lines open only if I get 10 or more people. I don't think I want to mess with that Uber phone conference unless I get 10 or more people in the chat. Even then, you're not guaranteed somebody's going to call in. But we've had some interesting calls every time I've had that call line open. Jason tried to call in one time. We just couldn't hear him. Our very first call in was Suso. I'll never forget that. But anyway, just letting everybody out there know none of those videos are in any way trying to debunk any Mandela effects whatsoever, because I'm a firm believer in the Mandela effect, and I've had a couple of personal Mandela effects that really affected me in a whole lot of ways that I didn't think was ever possible, because I was always a huge skeptic of a lot of stuff. But there are some things, and if you do see a possibility that it could be one way or the other, like the whole Natasha video that I put out the other day, is it Natasha or Tasha Yar? That whole thing could have been a Mandela effect, or it could have just been that her name was Natasha and everybody called her Tasha on the show. But maybe in her bio might have been full name Natasha, Lieutenant Natasha Yar. And everybody called her Tasha. Just because something is one way or the other doesn't necessarily make it a Mandela effect. And just because it is one way or another doesn't necessarily mean that's not a Mandela effect. The Mandela effect can be very tricky because there's a lot of things. Jiffy peanut butter, for example. I'm one of those people that remember it as it's just Jif. And a lot of other people are saying it is Jiffy. And that's fine. And that's how the Mandela effect works sometimes. We don't all see the same effects at the same time. But one tricky thing about the Jiffy Mandela effect, and I might talk about this more on tonight's broadcast, is we'll probably talk about all the Mandela effects. We'll go through a list. There's a huge list of them. But getting back to my Jiffy Jif story, I always remembered it as Jif. However, I remembered it Jif with 2 F's for some reason. And then I looked at it on the shelf in the store, and it only had 1 F, which I guess is the proper way to spell Jif, because why would you spell Jif with 2 F's, right? So I guess you could spell Jeff with 2 F's. You spell Jeff with 2 F's. So, yeah, why not? So that was my whole problem, was that it spelled, when I looked at it on the store shelf, it just said Jeff with 1 F. And that confused the hell out of me. So that was my Mandela effect on the whole Jiffy versus Jif peanut butter situation, and what a sticky situation it was. Pausing for laughter, sorry. Anyway, so that's that, and that is that. Who else do we have on the broadcast? Oh, Zeb Johnson. Zeb, thanks for watching. I hope you'll tune in later tonight. It's 7 Central, 8 Eastern for Shifty Sunday. It'll be me, God's Armor, and of course, Sagittarically Speaking will be on the broadcast as well. And let's see here. That's really all I have to say for right now. Like I said, this is a test broadcast. I don't usually do these, but I figured I'm bored. What the hell? I got all my stuff done. You know, it started raining, so I couldn't do any outside stuff. I vacuumed and cleaned my bathroom a little bit. I think I'm going to go off and have a nap before tonight's show starts. So, everybody who watched this short broadcast, I appreciate you for stopping by and watching. And hopefully, you guys will watch later tonight. And we'll talk a little bit more about Jeff versus Jiffy and other Mandela effects of the like. For everyone here at the Hebrew channel, that's me, Hebrew. I'm the only one here. Thanks for watching and see you tonight.